So is this a new Fahrenheit flanker? Look at this bottle. It kind of has the coloring of Fahrenheit bottles, don't you think? But no, this is not a new Fahrenheit flanker. This is a new fragrance from the house of Trussardi called Primo. And I wanted to share this fragrance with you guys because I really love the way it smells. And I think if you are in the market for a new designer fragrance, you should definitely seek it out. So in today's video, I'm talking about Primo by Trussardi, all coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sebastian. I'm talking about Trussardi's Primo. So this fragrance came out earlier this year, and as soon as it was announced, I was intrigued by the bottle, and it does not disappoint. I know some of you might feel it was a bit too retro. Maybe it's a bit like a 90s or 80s bottle, but to me, I really love it. I think the bottle is really great. The presentation is awesome, and the fragrance inside, the juice inside is also really amazing. I love it. For a designer, there's only one negative, and I'll let you know about it towards the end of the video, but I'm excited to let you know about this fragrance. So Trussardi is not a brand I speak about often. I only have one or two fragrances from the house. They have a luxury collection. I have one fragrance. I even forgot the name. I bought it a while ago, and I haven't really spoke about it. And Trussardi also has a collection of men's fragrances. There was one, I think it was unisex targeted. It's a rose something or rather. It's discontinued, so I've actually filed it away because it is discontinued. So those are the only two fragrances I own from the house, and I was never really excited to own anything else from this house until Primo was announced earlier this year. So I personally don't know what the suggested retail price of this fragrance is. I don't see it selling anywhere in the States, suggested retail like a Macy's or something. So I think Trussardi is not a brand that sells in the States. I think the only way we can get these fragrances are at the discounters. So I don't have that price, the suggested retail price. I bought this online for $85, and I also bought the refill for it for $92. The regular bottle is 100 ml, it's refillable, and the refill bottle is 150 ml. The presentation, again, it's really cool. It does remind me of something from the 90s. It's magnetic also. It falls into place, so I like that. The bottle has the name Trussardi written right there. On the bottom, you've got, basic information for the fragrance right there. And here is the bottle. I don't know. I really like this bottle. It's quite original, maybe a bit retro, but obviously here it is refillable. And it's easy. It's nicely done. I think whoever designed the bottle did a great job. It does remind me of some things from the late 80s and towards in the 90s, but I can't think of what it is off the top right now. If you remember something or a fragrance that looked like this, let me know, add a comment. And also the color. The color is so amazing. Really love it. It does remind me a little bit of Fahrenheit bottles. They don't smell alike, by the way. And also the Primo bottle is a lot redder, whereas the Fahrenheit bottles are a bit more orangey. So that's a difference as well. And let me show you the box as well. My box is falling apart. Not falling apart, but it's coming apart. But I think there was not strong glue on it to keep this from doing that. But as soon as I opened up the package, it kind of fell apart, and then it just totally came apart. But you can see that they're highlighting the refill format here. This is, I think, the logo for the Trussardi brand. It's also on here. Let me know if you guys are fans of Trussardi. Is there a fragrance that you really love from this brand? On the bottom, it does say a lot of information here for the fragrance. So Primo is Eau De Parfum concentration. I would call this a woody amber. It's created by Violaine, Collas. I think that's how you say her name. For notes, we've got grapefruit accord, maple syrup accord, lava mineral accord for top notes. Heart notes, we've got geranium bourbon, Calabrian pimento, Tonka beans. Finally, in the base notes, we've got patchouli, sandalwood accord, cedarwood, upcycled. Those are the only notes that they list here for this. And you know what? As soon as I got this, I opened it up and smelled it. instantly thought of some fragrances from Mugler. Mugler does fragrances, or used to do fragrances like this. Most importantly, I thought of a taste of fragrance. I don't know if it was subconscious. I don't know if it's the fact that this has that chili or the pimento, the chili pepper, and then the taste of fragrance for men from Mugler also had it. It was on that reddish kind of a theme, same as this. It kind of transported me to something I would experience from Mugler, which Mugler always had very original smells for fragrances up until like the latter part of the 2020s, the 2010s. And so I always felt like if I wanted something original as a smell for a designer fragrance for men, I can always count on Mugler. And to me, this is a very original smell. Smells fantastic. I really think it's very original. It's got this soft, spicy effect, not harsh whatsoever. There's a very smooth quality about it, and I just really love the way it smells. So it starts off smelling sweet and syrupy. You've got that maple syrup accord up top, and there is a bit of a minerally thing happening with it, but I feel like it's the maple syrup that runs the show up top. And if you're used to or familiar with maple syrup, I'm obsessed with maple syrup. I love it on pancakes and waffles and things like that. I just love the taste. In fact, last year when I went to Montreal, I brought back some really delicious maple syrup. I think they have some amazing there. And you definitely notice it here. It comes off very syrupy, but I feel like the lava mineral accord that's in here and also the grapefruit tones down the uber sweetness that maple syrup can create in fragrances or in general when you're eating it. So you have a nice, pleasant, sweet start to the fragrance, a bit citrusy, a bit minerally up top, and it's a great start. And this is when I thought to myself, this fragrance smells so original for a designer. That's why I felt like it's almost as original, if not as original, to some Mugler fragrances that I've experienced in the past, the good ones. Here in the heart notes, you still have a lot of maple syrup. I think maple syrup is a pretty prominent note here, but you experience some spicy elements and some aromatic herbal touches during the heart stage of the fragrance. But I feel like they mix nicely with the maple syrup because I get the maple syrup throughout most of the fragrance, including into the dry down. So you get not only the maple syrup up top, but in the heart and a little bit of in the dry down as well. Just creates a nice enveloping quality to the fragrance, very smooth. There's a very smooth quality about it, syrupy sweet, but smooth, like just smooth. It acts very soft as well. There's nothing harsh about this fragrance. Nothing really hits you and overwhelms you. So there's definitely a soft effect happening throughout. Smooth and soft comes to mind. But when the fragrance is drying down, it becomes ambery, woody in the dry down. You're still smelling the maple syrup. It's carried throughout the life, but by the time it gets to the end, you are experiencing something a bit more earthy, a lot of woods, and the smoothness kind of carries through here as well, since we have some sandalwood in the base notes as well. So there's a very smooth, creamy ride throughout the fragrance, not only because of the maple syrup, but also ending with the sandalwood. But I feel like this is quite an original smell. I really like that about it. I hope it satisfies some men out there looking for something unique and original compared to every other designer fragrances out there. In fact, I recently reviewed the fragrance Eros Najim from Versace and also original from the house of Lacoste. Now, Lacoste I didn't really care for whatsoever. With the Najim, I liked it. I didn't think it was a wow. I enjoyed the top and the heart more than the dry down of that fragrance because the dry down turned out to remind me of a lot of other men's designer fragrances. Here with this one, it's truly original and nothing I've smelled recently that will remind me of a fragrance I've smelled recently, kind of a thing, if that makes sense. Again, going back to Mugler, this fragrance to me does have a Mugler-like effect. It's what Mugler was doing 10 years ago, 15 years ago with all of their flankers to the Amen series. And it gives me that kind of an experience, something truly unique that I haven't smelled before, and really something I love to wear. So it's a very unique and original fragrance. I'm hoping that you guys get a chance to try it. I don't know, those of you that are in Italy, this is an Italian fashion house. Is it a fashion? It's a fashion house. Yeah, these fragrances are not released here in the States. So it's a bit difficult to get. You're going to have to get them at the discounters or have a friend coming back from Italy to bring it back to you, for you. But I think it's worth it. This one's worth it. And again, I paid $85 for 100 ml, $92 for a 150 ml refill. And I just love the presentation, the packaging, everything about this fragrance. And I was a bit cautious when I got it. I was like, I hope I'm going to like this one. I hope it's not disappointing like every other designer fragrance. And sure enough, it did not disappoint. And took me back to when I was buying a lot of flankers for Mugler's Amen series of fragrances. So those are the good parts about this fragrance. Here's the negative. There's only one real negative for me, and it's the performance of the fragrance, unfortunately. And it's not that it doesn't linger on. I don't think this is a big fragrance. It's not a beast mode fragrance. It's a designer after all. And remember, when I was talking about the fragrance, I kept saying soft. There's a softness about it, and I feel like this softness also creates for a softer wear, not a loud wear, not a beast mode wear, not a big projecting wear. Thankfully, it did linger on. I would say I pushed 6 hours with this one, not more, but it's not a beast mode fragrance. It's not a fragrance that's going to fill a room. It has softer qualities about it, and that's the disappointing part about it. So it's like, what do you want? You want something that's completely unoriginal but performs beastly, or do you want something completely original? And I'm not saying that this has never been done before. It has been done before. It reminds me of Mugler fragrances, as I said, but they're not done often. Like, it's not like every other fragrance smells like this, because I haven't smelled it in years. So would you rather have something that's beast mode that smells completely unoriginal like every other fragrance, or you want something that smells completely unique and new and something you haven't smelled for a long time, but it has, lesser performance? This is something you guys have to decide. I overspray anyway. That's why I got this. I mean, I didn't realize it was going to be this soft when I was wearing it. I just wanted the whole presentation and the whole thing to have, because not only did it give me, Fahrenheit vibes, I really love the presentation. As I said, this thing is very unique. I love that about it. And so I'm glad I got the refill, because I'm going to go down pretty quickly with this fragrance, because I do tend to overspray, but this one also requires more sprays because it's that kind of a fragrance. It's just not a loud fragrance. And yeah, that's the negative about it, because I wanted beast mode. I didn't get it, but I got a very unique smell. The fact that it reminded me of Mugler was another great thing, because I was one of the biggest fans of Mugler. I think Mugler did some amazing flanker to their Amen series of fragrances. And I think it's a winner for me, even though the performance is not the best. One last thing I should say, wearing this fragrance also, there's a little light hint of something licoricey, anisey coming up on my skin, and I like that about it. I like these notes in fragrances, and I love the way licorice, anise, wormwood, absinthe smells. So I get a bit of that with this fragrance, that, there's no mention of the notes or the note in this fragrance, but perhaps it's the way the fragrance is blended, and some of the notes are creating a licorice, anise kind of an accord. But for me, the first thing I thought of when I smelled this was a taste of fragrance from Mugler. The spicy, it was called Chili Men. I think that's what it was. That's what it was. Subtitled as, because it had the chili note. So this one also has it as well. So perhaps it was a subconscious thing. Perhaps just the fact that the smell is kind of in a Mugler-like way. But that's the first thing I thought. Then I thought, wow, this thing does remind me of fragrances that were launched by Mugler a long time ago. And it's a breath of fresh air to have something like this. Not only is it is a great bottle, I love the bottle. What do you guys think of the bottle? Do you hate it? Do you like it? And also, it's a great smell. But let me know your thoughts on this fragrance. What do you think about it? Have you gotten your nose on it? Or is this something you've been waiting to check it out? I was really excited when this first launched. In fact, I featured the fragrance in a upcoming fragrances video. You can search the channel and find it. And it does not disappoint. And the only disappointing thing is it's not beast mode. Well, we come to see or experience that from the designers. Not a lot of designers give us beast mode. In fact, Eros Najim was also a Parfum concentration. I didn't get beast mode from it either. I mean, once you get used to some of the strongest, most intense fragrances in Extrait de Parfum, I mean, designer fragrances come off a bit wimpy, and even though the Eros Najim was a Parfum concentration, it was even wimpy with that as well. But in comparison, I feel like Primo is much softer than Eros Najim, even though I thought Eros Najim was soft. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Trussardi's Primo, a new Fahrenheit flanker. Is it a Fahrenheit flanker? Do the bottles kind of remind you of one another? Let me know. Put some comments down below. And if you've tested it, do let me know. Do you have a bottle? Have you been wanting a bottle? Where to find it? I found it online. I can't remember the store because I ordered it while I was in Europe. So it took a while to get to me. But I've had it here at the studio for about a month now, and it was time for me to shoot a video. And I really wanted to tell you guys about this and to let you know that it is definitely a solid release from a house that I never speak about. Anyway, Trussardi's Primo. Do let me know what your thoughts are. Add a comment below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.